Trying to get the shot right is always a hassle. Okay, welcome everyone again to my small tiny channel where I paint and show you what I paint. I want to do a landscape today, of course, and this is the rough sketch that I want to try on the proper paper. This is on just sketchbook paper, so sketching paper that is not suited for wet techniques, but I've still managed to get the colors in that I wanted. And I've also finished it with my water-soluble graphite, so I'm gonna try and do that on the proper paper this time. I haven't used a reference photo for that. It's just whenever I'm painting, an image will form, and that's where I will get the idea from. Okay, so first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm going to use I use this scruffed up flat brush for this, but I think I wanna try a better quality one for this paper. Let me just see what I have. The other two that I have are larger, so I think I'm gonna go with this one. Okay, these are the colors that I'm going to be using. We have the burnt umber here, we have the intense green, sap green, cadmium red, ultramarine, cadmium yellow, and this here is the intense blue or phthalo blue. And I'm also going to be using my water-soluble graphite crayon. So I'm wetting my brush first. The paper is dry. I'm gonna dip my brush in the cadmium red. Now I'm going to dip it in my intense blue, corner like that. I'm going to mix it with the cadmium. And already it's blending into a nice, very natural looking color. It's supposed to be a sunset. Getting some more water in my brush because I want the pigment to flow and to blend properly. I'm just going to leave that white bit there alone because I'm going to add the yellow much later. And I'm not going to blend it as soft as I did before. I want to leave some streaks on there. Now I'm going to go with the water. I'm still going to use my intense blue. I'm not going to grab much of it, and the brush already has some water in it. And I'm gonna go like this, flat strokes. Now I'm going to do the same thing but with the intense green, sorry. And I'm also going to go and do some flat strokes like that. And I'm going to blend it nice, but leaving some of the blue in there as well. See how it's already starting to create some cauliflowers over here? It's because of the different dampness of the paper. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add some foliage right here in the middle. This is kind of giving me a nice horizon line. And I'm going to go with my burnt umber. I don't know if I'm going to achieve these nice marks like on the other one, because that was caused by the cauliflowering on the paper. Let's see what happens here. I'm also going to add a bit of the ultramarine, just to have a nice darker color in there. Now I'm also going to put a bit more water on my brush, and I'm going to blend that with the water, like so. I'm going to rinse my brush a bit, because I'm going to use it here to give some water reflections, make them softer. And this you achieve with using the correct paper and big brush, big strokes. And I think I'm going to leave it for now. I need it to dry. So let me just show you what we have at the moment. This is just the first layer, and it's also going to look much brighter right now and more vivid because it is damp. Once it dries, it's going to look more muted. The colors are not going to be as vibrant. Okay, it is now properly dry. You have to make sure that it is really, really dry, that it isn't damp, so that the colors will stick better. And I don't want to get any cauliflowering at this stage. By the way, Pixel is not amused because he was sleeping and I turned on the hair dryer and it startled him. He's now going back to sleep, hoping that his mom will not make more noise. And the proxy is also back. She's just there chilling, looking at me with her lovely eyes. She's the queen of my heart. So what I want to do now is enhance this area, make it more prominent, and also darken the water over here and do the reflections better. And in the end I'll do the sky if anything needs doing to it. I'm going to mark down the details where I want them to be with my graphite stick, and then I will be painting over. I am now applying more burnt umber with ultramarine blue to darken the area where the land would reflect on the water. I also make sure I blend it really good with the underpainting so that the transition will look smooth. I am now going to tackle this area here for the reflections in the water. I am removing some of the paint using my brush with only water. I know I should have applied the yellow on the first layer, but I wanted to retrace my steps when I did the first painting. Maybe the outcome will be different. So, while I wait for that part to dry, I will continue painting the water area. I am basically using the graphite to darken areas, but also to add some details on the land bit. Right, the paper is now dry, really, really dry, because I left it in the sun. And one thing that I wanted to mention before I start painting is that, so this is my block of Saunders, the Waterford one. I don't know how many pages I have left, but I probably have less than 10, so I have 4 pages left. So this is page 5, because it is a glued block, like on all 4 sides. The pressure of the paper drying, because the paper shrinks, has pulled up the rest of the sheets there, and now all my sheets are kind of bent. So I was about to remove this sheet now, since I can't use it on the block anymore. And let's see. Right, I'm just going to leave the painting over here. Okay, so now it is a bit more flat, but now this has come unglued from the backing there. That's a shame, because when I use these sheets, if I use them on like this, okay, so proxy is going to be here. So if I use them on the block, they are going to pull the rest of the sheets up, and it's going to warp even more. I guess I'm just gonna have to tape the sheets on my mats, like on these mats that I have, in order to use them. So if you also use the Saunders Waterford, I wanted to know if this has happened to you as well, or if it happens to blocks when they are almost at the end, you know, because I don't think I've had any other of my blocks do that. Like the small ones, when I was using up all the small ones that I have, they didn't really do that. I mean, maybe like the last 2 pages would kind of warp a bit or come unglued, but they wouldn't bend as much. So if you have any input on that, I will be grateful. Okay, I've been looking at it and it's looking good. I like the light that it has and the different colors, you know, there is the contrast. I really like that. I'm just going to add a bit more contrast here, and I'm going to do that using my graphite thingy. So what I did here in the previous one, I went quite haphazardly on top. I just painted with this like that, and then I just blended the graphite with the watercolor. So it's not something that is very detailed, but it gives this area some movement, and I'm gonna try to reproduce that for the one that I'm painting now. Just doing sort of like tree shapes. They don't need to be perfect. It's just so that I can add a bit of texture. These would be kind of the reflections of it. Don't want to do too much of that, so then it's going to look too busy and it's going to look a bit silly as well. Okay, now for the moment of truth. Painting it. Oh. Why do I always get so nervous? Like, it doesn't matter if I ruin it, you know, it's just paper and paint. And the graphite underneath is going to start dissolving, so that's also going to darken my colors, which is exactly what I want. And I'm not using a fully mixed swatch of the blue and the brown. I'm just sort of applying them separately and blending them on the paper. And here I'm just using the side of my brush to spread it, which is fair. It's not dry, but it's damp, so it's not too wet. So I'll be able to get these sort of marks, and that's also going to give texture to this area and make it a bit more organic looking. overdo it either, because I know I can go overboard with that and then it just looks kind of silly. Now I'm rinsing my brush in the water. I just need it to be wet so that I can blend this here. And this is also going to blend the charcoal underneath, the graphite, not charcoal. And here as well. Again, just using water on my brush and painting using the side. It's just to simulate the reflection of this forest or land, whatever, onto the water. And if I want to darken it more, I can actually just grab the graphite directly from the stick, like so. I'm leaving these lighter because I think it also gives everything a bit more of levels rather than it being completely flat. And I'm also not going to cover the whole thing here dark. I want to leave some areas with light in them. So there is going to be some light coming through and reflecting on the water. Okay, that's looking much better. Now one thing that I want to fix is this bit here. Like I said, I should have painted the yellow first and then the red with the blue, like at the beginning of the painting. But I wanted to follow the steps that I had done on the larger piece, and I decided to add the yellow at the end because it was looking a bit dull and it needed a bit more of a focal point. So I decided to add the yellow, and I really liked how it turned out. And I wanted to do the same here, see if applying it later would work as well. So because the paper had dried, the pigment had dried on the paper already, there are streaks that you can see, these marks there, and that's not looking very clean. I don't know if I'll be able to blend them a bit better. I'm applying more of the yellow, and I think I'm gonna have to apply a bit more of the cadmium red as well so that I can blend them. And now I have to fix that. Actually, I have my flat brush here with me. I can use that for the blending, it's going to be better. And I'm getting rid of these hard edges. I really like how it's turned out. I love how the colors are working all together. This sky I'm just going to leave because I absolutely love this soft glow here, going like from warm to cool, and sort of darker here that you can't really tell whether it's a blue or whether it's a sort of like grayish pink. So I like that. This sort of lighter part here is making the sky not look as flat. And there you have it, a very colorful sunset on an island, done with watercolors and water-soluble graphite crayon, and I was able to use my supplies. I hope you enjoyed this video. I think I need to show more paintings, like nicer paintings in my channel that you're going to enjoy. I know that the ones that I've been showing before haven't been the best, maybe. but I also wasn't in a very painty mood. But now that I'm getting my act together, hopefully, more proper paintings will be featured in my channel. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your week. Stay safe out there, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.